One of the things I've particularly liked to do for my home cinema over the last 30 or 40 years is to put trailer reels together, and this is a 35mm trailer reel. I'll go through some of the trailers as we see glimpses of them on screen for illustrative purposes, but various people have given me these trailers, and this one is a particularly nice reel that I've modified a bit lately because I'm considering it for next year's British Film Collectors Convention, which is in Oxted at the Barn Theatre. So look up bfcc.biz and you will find all the details on the next event page. You might get a chance to see this and plenty of other 35mm Super 8 and 4K there. Right, to lace up or thread up, you have to find the correct frame to put in the gate. I do this a bit backwards for Britain because they do this in Germany. I've learned this from Spoolbox channel, who used to be the chief at the Empire Leicester Square. He always did this after putting the films around the sprockets there. So anyway, I do it this way because I find it easier, because I didn't work in a professional cinema, so I've learned this the hard way. And whereas others have told me they can lace up an FP20 in about 20 seconds, probably why it's called FP20, it takes me a couple of minutes because I need to be sure of everything. Learned from projectionist like Svein at the Prince Charles when he screened 2001: A Space Odyssey for us that night, that around 1/4 finger is required there, and with that being 1/4 fingers width, I tend to get better results from the sound of CP500, which fails over to Dolby Digital more successfully from analog Dolby Stereo SR. Right, so I think that's this one threaded up or laced up, depending on which country you're in. I'll put the lamp on in a moment, put a light on in the front, and I shall try and show you that start frame in the gate. And if I've got it right, when it hits the screen, it should all be exactly in frame and no further adjustment necessary. Before I do anything further though, let's check the Dolby processor. The CP500 is set to Dolby Digital. It defaults to Dolby SR, and then when a digital track comes in it will go to Dolby Digital. That's the plan anyway. Right, this is to put the sound heads on, and this is to put the lamp on. This opening trailer is Sweet November, starring Charlize Theron and Keanu Reeves, and if we take a quick look at the Dolby CP500 processor, we can see that the sound has automatically switched to Dolby Digital. I'll come back to this a few times throughout this trailer reel. Sweet November was one of many trailers given to me by Keith Wilton over the years. Now then, the first failover. This is a day set given to me by Ben Wales, and yes, it's for the Empire Leicester Square. This trailer was given to me by Simon Nichols, and it's very special. It's Twister, but I have to be careful because it's a Universal product and they really don't like anything being seen of their movies on YouTube. I found that out the hard way, but hopefully they won't mind a couple of brief glimpses being seen, and rest assured the sound on this theatrical trailer, I have the teaser trailer on Super 8, but this theatrical trailer, the sound is absolutely fabulous, as you would expect, and pretty close to how we would have heard it in the Empire, but sadly not quite as good as that once great cinema. Look how the Dolby processor detects the splice and fails over briefly to Dolby SR and then back to Dolby Digital for the trailer Johnny Depp in Blow. This was a film I hadn't seen, but I liked this trailer so much, or I grew to like it so much, that I had to then get the Blu-ray and watch the film, which I have to say I rather enjoyed. Another great trailer from Keith Wilton.
3 million, I counted it twice. 2.5, I'm sure. Where do I put it? Try to close it. We're gonna need a bigger boat. Me?
You need to straighten your eyes out!
After Blow, we have Original Sin, starring Antonio Banderas and Angelina Jolie. It's a film I haven't seen. I did take a look at the opening 20 minutes, half an hour recently, and I thought I rather like the look of it. I'm going to have to track down either a DVD or a Blu-ray, but haven't succeeded yet. Keith Wilton doesn't particularly like horror films, and so that was a blessing for me, because The Others, I think, is possibly the best haunted house film ever made, and this 35mm trailer for The Others quickly came my way. I know I've shown extracts from it before, or brief glimpses of it before in another video, but it's in this trailer reel, and so if we get to show this at next year's BFCC, you'll get to see The Others on the big screen. That's the plan, anyway. This one is a trailer to one of my favourite comedies. This is the completely zany Heartbreakers with Sigourney Weaver, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Gene Hackman, who's absolutely hilarious and really hams it up. So, Heartbreakers, another one from that rather nice man, Keith Wilton. This one is Chris Rock in Down to Earth. This is another film I'd never seen, and over the years I grew to really like this trailer, felt that I needed to see the film. I kept my eyes open and eventually found the DVD in a local store for just £1. So there's another one ticked off the list, and the whole film is just as funny as this trailer, or at least I think it is, but I'm a bit of a Chris Rock fan.
What are you, the Blair Witch? Down to Earth.
This is Rush Hour 2. Now, I showed a clip from this film starring Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in a previous video, and I remember there was a comment left saying that is my favourite film of all time, or one of that person's favourite films. So I thought I'd include it again in this video, and it is on the reel, so it might be another one that we get on the big screen at the BFCC in Oxted next year. I'm showing the Dolby processor here because this trailer did often fail over to Dolby SR when I was first running it, after first getting this Kineton from Noel Pratt, but after learning the 4-finger width trick on the bottom loop, I no longer get that issue, so it just illustrates how important that measurement is on the bottom loop. Another classic day set from Ben Wales, and then into another very special trailer given to me by Simon Nichols. Now this one should probably be playing through Dolby A, because it's not a Dolby SR, it's actually the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman. What a great trailer. This one is actually the full theatrical trailer, and not the teaser trailer, that sort of historic teaser trailer that was released so far ahead of the film's release to nullify a lot of the controversy. But I showed that trailer within my review for the 4K UHD. This is the full theatrical trailer. Between those two videos, this one and the review of the UHD, perhaps you can decide if the colouring mastering matches the 35mm on that 4K. This is Scary Movie 2. Oh dear. But it is good fun as a trailer, and interestingly does not come with a Dolby Digital track, only the Dolby Stereo, Dolby SR spectral recording. So despite what any of us may think of the full film, this trailer is actually rather good. There we are, the next trailer is Dolby Digital, and the CP500 processor seamlessly switches back to Dolby Digital. Now this trailer is for a film I've never seen, The Crimson Rivers. It looks like a really interesting thriller, stars Jean Reno, and I'd rather like to see this one, but it's another one of those I've been keeping an eye out for and have never tracked down a copy, but one day coming soon. Now the final thing I thought I'd say is I've shot this during daylight hours, as you can clearly see through the swing doors. That's because when it comes to getting shots of the 35mm projector, it does help if you've got some light coming in from the outside when I hold one of those doors open, so we can actually see what is going on a 35mm projector. Just helpful for some of those shots.
The Crimson Rivers.
Right, so now this rewound trailer reel comes off the split spool, and then it goes in its own film can. This one really is a can, not a piece of plastic. That's now ready to go back on the shelf. So I've got a few other 35mm reels of trailers, but I've got a lot more on Super 8, and that was where my love of recreating a real cinema feel took off, and you could get all the day sets, all the adverts on Super 8 in its heyday during the 1990s. It was absolutely wonderful. Now I think I'm going to be running my 35mm print of Alien next, and because that's a 2-hour roughly long film, these are the size spools, and that's on some 2 of them. This is slightly bigger. This I use as a take-up spool. Noel Pratt let me have 2 of these, and they're perfect for take-up spools because nothing on a 6,000 foot machine is bigger than these. So I hope to do a similar video of that coming soon. So if you enjoyed this one, please give it a like, perhaps consider subscribing if you haven't already. And until the next video, which I hope will be Alien on 35mm in here, in scope, with Dolby Digital 5.1 sound, which might be the best sound I've ever heard on Alien, but I'll judge that when I watch it at slightly higher volume than I did last time. So until then, bye bye for now.